I know a lot of my viewers are here actually because of this Jeep here. This project has been awesome over the years. I've built this thing out like crazy. This is my overland off-roader. I am going to eventually be building out that truck as well with a camper, but today's project is even more fun. My wife's Gladiator has been mostly stock other than a 2-inch lift, which I did the installation for. I'll put a link down in the description for that. And then the 37-inch tires for it. Otherwise, this is primarily just a stock vehicle, but I just got an offer to mount on a really cool Stubby bumper, and this is from Hooke Off-Road. So I'm gonna unbox this product. I just drove it in the smallest Jeep in the collection, which is this cutie right here. Look at that thing. Definitely not all-wheel drive, but still pretty cute. Wish this thing would fit on that, but it does not. So this is a Stubby bumper. And this right here is from Hooke Off-Road. Really cool website. They are going to be doing a Black Friday special as well as a Cyber Monday special. So I'll put a link in the description for their website so you can go get some of those really cool end of year deals that I know a lot of folks who are in this community look for these high ticket items. And this was delivered, I think it took 3 days, not even, to get to me. It was FedEx ground. They put it right at my gate. Obviously my gate is latched, so I can get in, but I'm trying to do this one-handed here if I can to give you guys the full experience of unboxing. Now, I would say for the average person, this is not the lightest object. I think this is roughly 90 pounds. Now, this particular one comes with LEDs in it for your off-road lights. So let me open up this little bag here. And I made a little bit of a foam mess. But again, you all know how I make my content. This is all one-handed. Let's get down to brass tacks. So you have a winch mount right in the front, right in the center. Light bar and 2 fog lights in it. And then a couple of pieces that you'll put together on the bumper itself to give it this upper bit here. You can see it's not attached here, so we'll mount that on. Some simple hardware. It shows you what you need to install it right here. Obviously a QR code, so you can scan your screen there if you want that. But overall, it's a relatively simple instruction, and it's actually really nice. They give you all of these really detailed instructions on how to install it with a really nice color photo. And I've done a ton of aftermarket installations in my days, and they rarely give you instructions that are this detailed or nice. So very great job to Hooke Off-Road. Looks like they did a really good job on the packaging. Looks like they did an even better job on the shipping. And let's now check out this product. Now, still wrapped up here, but I will undo this and then come back so, you know, you don't have to see the ugly shaking of this. All right, so obviously you have the instructions, you have the top bull bar here, then you have the winch, or the bumper itself, the winch plate, some little hardware to go along with the winch plate there. You get these really nice D rings, which are 3/4 inch, which are really heavy, and then this is the under bit of the bottom side of it. So I'm gonna assemble all of these together, and then, oh yeah, obviously the hardware that makes that assembly go together. And it looks like, now that I'm opening this, looks like this is all grade 8 too. Not all grade 8, but all the bigger bolts are grade 8, which is awesome. Great work on their part. So really nice quality product. You get some cool stickers with there as well. So let me put this thing together and see how long it takes in total to slap this thing on there. So fast forward a few days, I had a couple of things come up at work, and it had been exceptionally wet and rainy here, as well as really cold. And so typically when I try and film any of these videos for you guys, I'm making it during daylight and in the garage with good lighting so that you can actually see what's happening here in a little bit more vivid detail. So here is the Jeep. This is the Gladiator. This is the first year model of that vehicle. So they all should be roughly the same, but knowing that manufacturing typically takes some small small changes over each model. And then within the Jeep world, they stay model-wise the same. However, there might be some different fasteners. But all things considered, you get these little clip pins. They're everywhere. These are the 2-step clip pins. So you have a pin puller, one of these little guys, super handy to have. I would recommend one of these if you're doing anything like this. That centerpiece comes up. And then once you get the center bit up, that's when you can pull the whole thing up from there. So that's how those little guys come up. There are a couple on the top here and some on the back of this here. And I believe you have to remove these to get to some of those access bolts. This is the first time I've ever removed this bumper specifically. And then these, I believe these are 9/32, or maybe perhaps some other version of a metric size, like 8mm or smaller, or maybe like 7mm, that holds this shield on the bottom. So I'm gonna start removing all of these, and then I'll come back to it with a little bit more of this disassembled so you can see how the inside bolts and everything hold the actual metal piece of this, which is actually very limited amount of metal that's inside this, onto the bumper itself. So once you've removed all these little clip pins, and these are pretty simple if anyone's never pulled these specific types out before, how this works is the top centerpiece comes up first, and then you can use these little claws or a screwdriver to pry up from underneath the second part of it. And what this does is once it slides into the hole, that little top pin pushes through and it expands out or flares this bottom piece, so it pins it against the surface. So if you just try and pull a whole assembly without popping that top piece up first, they're not gonna wanna come out. So taking off those dust shields, or wherever they actually are, and then these 18mm bolts, they're a little bit tricky to get to, but with some basic hand tools, and if you have something that can pull them out like an impact driver, that makes it a lot easier. I'll flip you upside down for a second, push it back there. You can see those bolts there. Those bolts are actually what those nuts attach this bumper to the front facing piece here. I did pop this open because I wanted to see the wiring assembly for this. This is only one plug that supplies the power to both of the fog lights on the front of this. And these are those traditional style plugs. You push down on this little pin there and yank this back piece by the plastic, not by the wires, out of the back of it. So that'll detach that. And now the bumper is actually free to come off. You can see the whole thing wiggles. And since I'm filming with one hand and holding on to the bumper with the other, I don't know if I'll be actually able to take it off without dropping it on my feet. So I'll pop this off and show you what it looks like when it's removed. Okay, that's it. I just pulled the bumper off. It's not that heavy at all. It's very light. And then this is that mounting plate up in the front. And this is what will be the place that new bumper goes. Obviously, I'm a little bit OCD, so I'm gonna wipe down all these surfaces and clean them up a little bit first, and then we'll work on the winch plate bar that goes in the middle there. It actually already looks cooler without that bumper on it. I mean, the Gladiator was meant to show off its big tires, let's be honest. Next, for the winch plate section of it, you'll see these brackets that actually come from the frame rails and then add as a second layer of this 90 angle that holds the bumper itself. And on the inside, they are the symmetrical same parts, and there's one on either side. You actually take the bolt out that holds this in here and remove it on both sides. And what this does is it allows for this winch plate to go in, so the rolled back side goes toward the vehicle and the lift up side stays front facing. Get your nice winch plate bolt pattern here. And now it fulfills this hole, but it also comes back and returns, so when the new bolts of the bumper go into this, it will actually be structurally bound here. And you'll see how this kind of all goes together in a minute here, but that's a pretty cool design that they put there to put that winch plate in. And it does require that this tin, or I guess it's steel of some kind, it's very thin, like another kind of wind drag or brush guard, whatever, comes off this bottom. That same bolt head that's up there is that. And this, again, you could find the metric that's the equivalent, but for this, I am using a 5/8 to remove that, and that seems to be good. And those aren't on there that hard. And I didn't torque this down all the way because I'm gonna wait till the bumper's on there to finish that step. So yeah, you'll have those little pieces left over. And I just slid it on, I haven't bolted it on yet, but look how nice that looks. It's got a really nice opening over the wheel, so you get that really good approach angle for your tires. and just the lines for the aesthetics of the bends are really nicely contoured to the body. So they did actually a really good job at matching the design of the original Jeep and putting that on there. It comes with these LED lights, but since it has also a light bar, I think what I'm going to do is try and retrofit some kind of an adapter to reuse the original LEDs that are fog lights, and continue the same existing wiring harness to the original. So these will probably eventually pop out, and I'll still keep that light bar because I think one light bar is probably sufficient, but this thing just looks really good. And this week specifically, we're approaching Thanksgiving. I think today's the 23rd or 24th of November in 2024. And Hooke Road is actually doing a Cyber Monday and early Black Friday deal on their website right now. So these are actually on sale right now. So if you're interested in getting your Jeep looking cute for Christmas, this might be the way to do it.